Very good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Udwak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Nigerian leader urges police to remain apolitical. Still on the headlines, Erdogan condemns vile, treacherous attack in Somalia. Also on the headlines, Africa's Special Court sentences 3 for crimes against humanity. And on sports, Edo to host National Kickboxing Workshop. And now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the police force to remain apolitical, firm, and loyal to democratic values. He has also charged the force to perfect operational plans that will guarantee a credible outcome in the 2023 general elections. The president gave the advice on Monday while declaring open a 3-day conference and retreat for senior police officers in Owerri, the Imo State capital. He directed the police to review the current and evolving internal security threats as they may impact on peaceful and successful elections. Assuring the force of his full support and encouragement in the build-up to the presidential polls, the president expressed delight that the reforms undertaken under his watch are paying off, with the members of the force demonstrating high professional, ethical, and operational standards reflected in performances in international security operations. The president therefore commended the police leadership and all officers, emphasizing the need to replicate the same feat in the forthcoming elections.
I reaffirm on the global stage that as president, I have set the goal that one of the enduring legacies I would like to leave is to entrench a fair, transparent, and credible election through which Nigeria of their choice.
And away from that, against the backdrop of the terror alerts issued by both the United States, that is the US, and the UK, that is the United Kingdom last week, the federal government on Monday also came down hard on the United States mission in Nigeria, the British High Commissioner, and other foreign missions over the terror alerts they issued last week, that it was irresponsible to give signals of heightened insecurity in the country when there was no basis for it. The National Security Advisor Babagana Munguno stated this after the emergency meeting of the National Security Council summoned by the President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Experts, however, advised the government to exercise caution in its outright dismissal of the security warning. The US, UK, and later by Canada, Germany, and Bulgaria had warned arms in the country. Recall that the Senate had on July 26, 2022 passed a bill that sought to establish the National Commission for the Coordination and Control of the Proliferation of Small Arms and Light Weapons, that is the SAWS. The bill is reportedly a consolidation of 3 bills, including the Nigerian National Commission Against the Proliferation of Small Arms and Light Weapons Establishment Bill 2020, that is SB 283. The passage of the bill was a sequel to the consideration of a report of the VGN gave an update of the activities of the group.
Most of the arrest and elimination of die-hard criminals in Nigeria. We lost over 1,500 of our fine officers and men. This figure was recorded in Northeast, Northwest, and North Central alone in the fight against insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping. In the Southeast, Southwest, and South-South, we lost over 500 fine of our officers.
Former Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, also commented on the situation.
In one of the darkest annals in the contemporary history of this, our beloved nation, I was the one who initiated and formed the civilian JTF that was largely drawn from membership of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria. I want to give you my word, and my word is my bond. Once elected into power, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will put in motion a process for an act of the Parliament to recognize the BGM.
Still talking Africa today on Hills TV, the family of a driver, Ikenna Udu, has accused the police at the State Criminal Investigation Department, Annex Alkuzu, in the Oyi local government area of Anambra State of torturing him to death. The victim's wife, Mary, alongside her in-law, Chioma Aniegbonam, and her husband, Sunday, while lamenting Ikenna's death, said efforts to retrieve his corpse had proved abortive. They further alleged that the police, upon realizing that Ikenna had died, buried him without their knowledge and refused to disclose the location of his corpse. Sunday said policemen at the SCID annex demanded 200,000 naira to release his in-laws on bail, adding that they were planning to raise the money when Ikenna died. In a bid to get justice, Sunday said the family secured the services of a lawyer, Chike Nonyelu, who petitioned the SCID annex in Oyi local government area of the state regarding the matter. Contacted on Wednesday, October 26 for a reaction, the State Police Public Relations Officer, that is the PPRO, Ikenganya Anthony, told reporters to send a text message for a reaction, but refused to make a comment. Ikenganya, when contacted again on Monday, October 31, told correspondents to send a message, but had yet to respond as of the time this report was filed. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The president of Turkey has strongly condemned the heinous terrorist attack with bomb-laden vehicles in Somalia. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said at a meeting with religious officials in the Turkish capital Ankara, stating that no reason can be an excuse for killing innocent civilians. Children going to school, people praying in mosques. According to Newsman, it was reported that on Monday, in a phone call with Somalian counterpart Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, Erdogan wished mercy on those who lost their lives in the attack and a speedy recovery to those injured. Expressing Turkey's strong support for Somalia's fight against terrorism, Erdogan told Mahmoud that Ankara always stands by Somalia and its people. Following a protest by workers, according to Newsman, the development, which is believed to have been a directive from the chief executive officer, comes at the back of a demand by the workers for the removal of about 28 retirees, 9 of whom are in administration. It was reported that workers who took to the streets yesterday also protesting their poor conditions of service, amongst others. Speaking with Newsman, the local union chairman, Edgar Tete, said the protest will go on until all those who have attained the mandatory retirement age retire, stating that the presence of the retired ensure that all the retirees in the company leave office. We now move to other parts of Africa after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. South African women's right to demonstrate outside the Johannesburg Magistrates Court on Monday during trial proceedings of a 21-year-old man who was charged with murder in connection with the discovery of 6 decomposed bodies believed to be those of sex workers. Findings showed that Sifiso Makwanzai was arrested on 9 October 2022 at his father's panel beating business and is currently standing trial for the murder of one of the women found, while DNA results on the bodies are still outstanding. His defense team had abandoned a bail application and his lawyer, Kanyiswa Makabi, did not give any reasons for her client's decision. The National Prosecuting Authority's Findi Njonodwane declined to comment on the identities of the women, saying the organization would make the appropriate information public once DNA results have come back.
At this stage, we are still awaiting DNA results, so we don't yet have information about any bodies that have been identified. Up until we have received the outcome of the DNA, we will inform the family members accordingly, and thereafter that information can be of public consumption.
Katlego Rasabitse, a representative from a women's rights group, said they are hopeful that more charges would be added with regards to 5 other bodies that were found.
We dependently on the NPA to make sure that more charges are added because there are more survivors who have created a safer space between the movement and the investigating officers so that they can be given a platform to open cases, those who survive his beating.
According to reports, the trial will resume in December. And now taking you away from that and having you know that a UN-backed court in the Central African Republic, that is the CAR, on Monday convicted 3 militiamen of crimes against humanity and handed them jail terms from 20 years to life. Issa Saleh, Adom, Osman Yaborsmarangia and Tahir Mohammed were accused of taking part in an attack by the 3 armed group in May 2019, in which 46 villages in the northwest CAR were massacred. After its first ever trial, the Special Criminal Court, a tribunal of local and international judges, sentenced Adom to life and the others to 20 years. One of the poorest and most volatile countries in the world, CAR plunged into civil war in 2013, largely along sectarian lines. Violence fell back in intensity in 2018, but as recently as early 2021, 2/3 of the country lay in the hands of the armed groups spawned in the conflict. The 3R, Return, Reclamation and Rehabilitation, is one of the most powerful of these militias, drawing its members mainly from the Fulani ethnic group, also called Pils. In a statement, the court said the trios were guilty of murder, inhumane acts, and humiliating and degrading treatment. Adom, as military chief, was additionally convicted over rapes committed by subordinates and of war crimes. And now to Ethiopia, where Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says there is heavy foreign interference in the continuing talks between the government and Tigray administration, but remains hopeful a peace pact will be reached. Speaking to newsman, Abiy said Ethiopians can solve their matters despite international pressure for a ceasefire, which he also confirmed the federal army's capture of the Tigray towns of Shire, Axum and Adwa last month from the rebel Tigray People's Liberation Front, that is the TPLF. Meanwhile, a spokeswoman for the African Union, that is the AU Commission, Chairperson Moussa Faki Mahamat, said there was no date limitation on the talks. Mahamat confirmed and affirmed that the negotiation, although they were, stay with us. Welcome back to the business desk of Hills TV. The Independent threatened to withdraw posts for the hike in price. According to their businesses could not thrive considering the high cost of diesel to power the station and the exploitation from private tank depot owners and Nupeng. They implored the federal government to revive all NNPC depots within the eastern zone to enable them get the premium motor spirit at a regulated price. Sought the intervention of the Nigeria Labour Congress, that is the NLC, in appealing to Nupeng to reduce the load-in fee. Still in business, the federal government of Nigeria on Monday announced that the estimated performance of Nigeria's domestic gas supply obligation rose by 14.14% to 64.8% in 2021. It said this was against the 50.66% that was achieved in 2020, noting that efforts were being intensified to further grow the country's gas supply volumes in 2022. The chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, disclosed this at the 2023 Domestic Gas Demand Requirements Workshop in Abuja. He explained that Nigeria's gas demand requirement also rose marginally by 5.9% to 250 million standard cubic feet per day in 2022. Ahmed said, as at the end of September 2021, the estimated performance of the domestic gas supply obligation was 64.8% compared to 50.66% achieved in 2020 when comparing annual total domestic supply obligation allocation to the actual daily supply met. The NMDPRA boss, however, noted that despite the improved performance recorded in 2021, the domestic gas markets had continued to experience significant challenges. Ahmed, however, assured participants at the workshop that all necessary preparations had been made to ensure that this year's domestic gas demand requirement was coordinated in a safe, productive, and efficient manner. Still to come in Africa Today is sports. Stay with us.
Very good afternoon to you and welcome to Sport News on Africa Today. I am Richard Badung. Edo State will host the National Kickboxing Technical Workshop at the Indoor Sports Hall of Samuel Egbemudia Stadium. This is according to the Secretary General of the Kickboxing Federation of Nigeria, Olalekan Fasesin. The workshop is in conjunction with Edo State Sports Commission and is being endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. Fasesin told newsmen that the workshop shall include grading of referees and certification for coaches. However, the president of the Kickboxing Federation of Nigeria, Wilson Okon, has praised the permanent secretary of the Sports Ministry, Ismaila Abubakar, and the Edo State government for the existing laudable efforts aimed at developing kickboxing in Nigeria. Moving away from that story, after missing the cut in the CAF Champions League group stage, the focus of Nigerian Professional Football League, that is NPFL champions Rivers United and runners-up Plateau United, will now shift to the CAF Confederations Cup as they seek to play in the money-spinning group stage of the second-tier CAF Interclub competition. Standing in their way are Libyan opponents, as Rivers United were drawn against El Nasser Benghazi, while Plateau United were paired with Al Akdar. The additional second preliminary round of the 2022-2023 CAF Confederations Cup draw saw the 16 teams that qualified from the second preliminary round of the CAF Confederation Cup play the 16 teams that lost the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. Both matches will be played tomorrow, that is on Wednesday, the 2nd of November 2022. In Port Harcourt, NPFL champions Rivers United will welcome two-time Libyan champions El Nasser Benghazi in the first leg at the Adokia Massimaka Stadium. Moving away from that story now to other burning matters in the world of sports. Sports Minister Sunday Dare has commended Nigeria's para-powerlifters for their impressive showing at the African Open Championships that ended in Cairo, Egypt. Nigeria won a total of 12 medals, which involves 9 gold and 3 silver at the end of the 4-day event, creating 3 world records and 2 African records in the process. Roland Ezurike, Esther Uwogu, Latifat Tijani, Kafila Almaroof, Folashade Oluwafemi Ayo, Onyechi Gift Mark, Loveline OBG, and Bosse. Nigeria also won gold in the team's event for women, which Bosse Bejide, Lucy Ejike, and Thomas Kure won the 3 silver medals. The gold medal won at the event was, however, not recorded on the medals table. Moving away from that matter, just to let you know that's your sport news on Africa Today. Back to Udwak Daniel for the rest of the news. I am Richard Badum.
time for that one on sport, and that's Africa Today. But before we go, a quick look at our top stories. We told you Nigeria leader urges police to remain apolitical. We also told you Erdogan condemns vile treacherous attack in Somalia. We brought to the fore South Africa Special Court sentences 3 for crimes against humanity. And on sport, Edo to host a national kickboxing workshop. Remember to visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube.